This second song, oh, this is a good little song. Poor man Lazarus. I imagine, well, I know from the history, these slaves were what you call wild people, infidels when they came over. They couldn't even understand each other, where they came from hundreds of different tribes scattered in Africa as your ancestors are scattered in Europe. They didn't understand each other. And they come here, and then the white man expects, because they're black, that they ought to act like brothers. Some of them, when they came, were sold on the plantation. You can imagine this. The man who owns the plantation tells his overseer to go and buy 15 slaves, if he had that much money. He brought 15 people here, men and women. They came maybe from 15 different tribes in Africa, because they just went over there and captured them, helter-skelter, you see. And here you got 15 slaves, big, strong people, men and women, and the overseer says, now I want you slaves to move these bales of cotton over there. They don't understand a thing he's talking about. Raw slaves from Africa. He got a whip. He says, if you don't move those bales of cotton, I'm going to whip your head. Bump. One stands says to the other, what is he talking about? He says, I don't know what he's talking about. I can't even understand you. What are you talking about? That was the situation. All black. All black. White people said, well, you're all black, you're just like brothers, you understand each other. Well, I have to tell you this is an example of that. My wife and I were right after the Second World War, we went overseas to entertain the soldiers. We went up to Holland. We were stationed in Belgium, went up to Holland for vacation. I went downstairs in the hotel this morning, had breakfast with a man, and as I was eating breakfast at the counter, Dutchman came up to me, and he saw my army uniform on. He said, I speak a little English. I said, oh, good, I do too. Speak. So he had 3 little dogs on a leash in a restaurant. And I looked, I said, that's strange. In some of our restaurants in the United States, we don't allow dogs to come. But I said, what's the matter with the dogs? And he said that the dogs, those 3 dogs, he says, I'm in show business. I said, I am too. So he said, when the Germans captured Holland, and came in and found he had 9 dogs in an act, a vaudeville act, and the Germans killed 6 of them and didn't want anything to consume food. So they left him 3 little dogs that can use after the war to train other dogs. And he said, but he said, they left me only 3 of these puppies, and they're green. I have to go all over my act again with them. And he said, so are you American? I said, yeah, I've got the uniform on and so forth. He said, I've been to America. I said, yeah, you have, huh? And he said, yeah, we kept talking. He said, by the way, you know a lady in the United States named Loretta Butler? I says, well, I sure do. She teaches dancing, doesn't she? He said, that's the one. I knew Loretta, and he says, that's that Loretta Butler. She's dancing. I said, sure, I know. She's a good friend. I said, is she in California? Yeah, California, that's where she is. And he said, I work with her. I went back upstairs. My wife was up there. She said, Marge, I guess the white folks are all right. We do know each other. I told her. I said, that wouldn't have happened in 10,000 years. Just, you know, a lady in the United States named Loretta Butler. And it just so happened I had this friend, and her name was Loretta Butler, and this man worked. I called her when I came back and said, Loretta, I met a man in Holland, and he wanted to know if I knew Loretta Butler in the United States, and it was you. She said, yeah, he worked with me. I described him, and there you have it. So maybe you folks are right. We do know each other. So this little song says about the teaching in the religion. Poor man Lazarus. They told the story of the poor man going to the rich man's house and asking for crumbs from his table. And he says, no, get away. And so Lazarus died and went to heaven. The rich man named Dives, D-I-V-E-S. But we say Dives in the song. He asked, he wouldn't give him any food, so when he died, he went in the other direction. Now, that's the missionary is talking to these black slaves, telling them the story, what happened. And so Lazarus is up in heaven being rocked in the bosom of Abraham, and Dives is down in the other place burning and scorching. He looks up and says, would you please Dip your finger in the cooling waters of heaven and let one drop fall on my parching tongue, just one drop. And Lazarus, good man, Lazarus made an effort. He said, no, you don't do that. Then Abraham said to this man down there, we gave you 90 years on the earth to justify your existence, and all you did was take care of your own wants. You never did one single thing for anybody but yourself. So Lazarus, you fly and you burn, Dives. That's what